What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime, and welcome back to yet again another video on this channel. In this video today, I am here to bring you all my review of Orange episode 4. So let's get this started. So with this episode of Orange, we finally conclude volume 1 of Orange, and I gotta say, the studio is doing a pretty good job so far with what they're doing with Orange. However, I don't really know what they're going to do in, the future episodes, because there's about like 20 something chapters of Orange, I would say. So I guess what they're gonna do from now on is that every episode is going to be like basically mashed in with 2 to 3 chapters each, and it's not really that big of a deal. It really doesn't have to be that big of a deal if you actually think about it, because that's actually, only a limited amount of chapters. It's just, I'm very worried if, the midpoint of the series to the end point is going to get rushed, and that is something that I don't want with Orange, because the story is very well rounded and very, very good. But if they end up, rushing the midpoints, the tension isn't going to be as big to the build up to the ending of the series, and the ending to the series is awesome. So I don't really know what they're going to do in the next few episodes of Orange, but, what they're doing right now, it's very good. I'm liking it. The soundtrack is awesome. The animation is great. The voice actors are doing a wonderful job bringing the characters to life, and I just hope that this can keep up, and the pacing as well can keep up. I just really hope they don't end up rushing, the future episodes of Orange, because the ending is very heartwarming, and if you actually, go ahead into the midpoint of the series and start to rush the tension, the build up to the conclusion isn't going to be that well executed. So that's all I'm really, cautious about when it comes to Orange. But anyway, let's get to the review. So with this episode of Orange, we get to see the dastardly nature of Ueda-senpai and how much of a what can I say on camera without sounding bad? A bitch! I'm just not gonna lie to you, like, she is a real asshole. She's a real asshole to Kakeru, to, Naho. I mean, she's just one of those types of girls who, just wants attention, so to speak. She wants to go out with Kakeru. I don't even believe the fact because that she liked Kakeru, but just because she wanted attention from him. She even goes out of her way to make Naho's life miserable by basically treating her like shit, and then blame it on Kakeru that he is the one to cause the problems, because Naho's always, staring at Kakeru and everything. And I'm just like, you're just going out with this guy just to get attention and say that you have a boyfriend. It doesn't seem to me like you actually care for him, because if you actually cared for him, you wouldn't care the types of people that, he would be looking at or, hanging out with. Sua, Naho, and, the other characters within Orange, they're all friends to Kakeru. You can't tell a person who and they can't hang out with, like, the fuck? I'm sorry, but, like, people like that, they really piss me off, because, I mean, you don't own someone. You don't own someone. You can't tell them what they can't and cannot do. If you do that, your relationship is bound to fail anyway, regardless. And I'm just glad that Kakeru now actually got to see that from Ueda-senpai. And it seems like he is going to end the relationship right then and there on the spot, because we see that Kakeru, he's not completely satisfied. Even with being in a relationship, he is still feeling lonely and out of place. And, if he is bounded by another person on, like, limiting on what he can and cannot do, especially when it comes to his friends, that's a red flag in a relationship. Just know, Kakeru, you need to end that, like, now, you know, so, and it's kind of cool that we actually got to see some, character development with Naho. I mean, technically, in these past episodes, we've seen a little bit of character development from her, but I think this episode's conclusion to what Naho did, actually calling out to Kakeru and, you know, expressing her feelings, you know, not really expressing her feelings that she has for him, but more of, you know, on how their relationship has been built upon friendship and how she likes to, you know, spend time with him. I thought that was very cool indeed, and, you know, the letters are changing her for the better, because as we know, you know, Naho in the beginning of Orange was technically like this, you know, she was very, you know, timid, very, you know, keep to herself, so to speak, but after these, you know, letters have been, you know, basically thrown into her face, with all these regrets that her future self had in mind, the current Naho is starting to go out of her way to basically break out of her shell, so to speak, and, you know, try to at least further the relationship that Kakeru and Naho should have had in the beginning. So I thought that was pretty cool on how, you know, they handled that scene at the end of Orange. But all I gotta say is, though, when it comes to Naho's character, though, like, she is probably, when it comes to shoujo, when it comes to romance and shoujo, you get a really, most of the time you get a really dunce of a main character, of a main heroine, because, I mean, it's just obvious as to how Kakeru actually likes Naho. I mean, they're like sitting on the bench and everything, and Kakeru says to Naho that, you know, I just realized that being in this relationship with Ueda, you know, has made me, you know, been interested in someone else. Like, I've always been interested in this other person before I even went out with Ueda, and Naho is just wondering in her mind, like, who it could be, but we all know who it is. I mean, it's quite obvious that it's her, you know. So, I don't know. When it comes to Naho, like, I love her, I love her, but, you know, sometimes, you know, going the dunce route when you're making a main heroine is not always the best thing, because it angers the viewer. But, I mean, what Orange is doing right now is very good. You know, regardless of that factor, I'm really liking how they're adapting these episodes of Orange, and I really am interested to see more on how exactly they're going to handle the future episodes. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below on what you thought about this episode of Orange, and of course, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like. It always helps out the channel, and if you want to stick up to date with my future content, feel free to do so by subscribing down below, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace, guys. Woo!